Welcome back to the Time for Heroes podcast.
On the show today, I have Lena Anderssen, a singer-songwriter, a Canadian slash Faroes singer-songwriter, or Faroes slash Canadian, whatever we want to put it, due to bring out her sixth album, State of the Land, on Friday, the 26th of January. Really good album, really impressed. Recorded with the late Geoff Emerick, who produced some Beatles albums, so working in good company. But before that, we're going to get back to the start. So what was life like for a young Lena growing up?
Ooh, that's kind of a a heavy duty question. Life's been all over the place for me. I was born in the Faroes, and I grew up in Canada, and I basically moved around like every other year, like every couple of years we moved, and so I've lived on the West Coast and in the middle of Canada, around the Great Lakes, and then I've lived in Montreal, in Quebec, before moving back to the Faroes. And so it kind of like always gave me a sense of rootlessness. Like I always felt like I didn't really belong anywhere. And maybe that's something that I've taken along with me in my music. Because maybe that's where I feel like I belong. I don't know. But what it's been like, yeah, it's been a roller coaster ride, and I've just tried to make the most of it.
Right. What was your early ambitions? Did you always want to play music? Was that initial thoughts?
It's weird. I've always I come from a musical family. My mom, she's a singer, and she's made a couple of records, and but I didn't dream about music. I didn't dream about becoming a singer, but it always filled our home, and I've always sung to myself, and actually I wasn't aware of it. When I meet people today who remind me of how I was like as a teenager, or if I meet up with people that from high school, oh, you were always singing, Lena. And I didn't, it probably just was a natural thing for me, but it wasn't an ambition at all. I actually wanted to be a marine biologist. So nothing but so I feel like I kind of stumbled into this thing, but it was probably meant to be. And how that happened was when I moved back to the Faroes, I got a job at a cafe, and one night I thought everyone had left, and so that's when you start cleaning the tables and putting the chairs on the tables, getting ready to wash the floor and all that. And then I just started to sing to myself, and all of a sudden I hear steps coming up from the basement, footsteps, and it's this guy, and I remember him from the cafe. Like he was a guy that came in every now and then, but it turned out he was a Norwegian drummer, and he was teaching at the music school here. And he said, "Wow, you can sing. You should join my band, my cover band." He had a cover band. Yeah. So that's how that started. And so he went off. I locked the door, and then I thought to myself, oh, maybe I should give it a try. And so I decided to join that cover band, and we played Stevie Wonder covers and all that. And then in the band, I met Niklas Johannesson, who is my music partner and my husband today. And we write all our stuff together. And that's when I basically started writing. He sort of opened up that world to me. And so that's how that began.
That's brilliant. So obviously moving back in, meeting this drummer, and then obviously meeting your future husband. Obviously, you mentioned a bit in your early part of your life feeling kind of rootlessness. So
Right.
how do you feel now? Like, I mean, it must be completely different, like a massive turnaround now.
Yeah, it is. It's a turnaround, but it's funny how all these things that form you as a child and a teenager and in your youth, those feelings don't go away. Like it's still there, but now I just use it constructively. I use it, in my music, but yeah, I'm starting to feel more grounded, I guess, but I ask myself, is that what I want? But sometimes it's like, yeah, something that you're used to feeling it's awkward to feel something else,
Well, as well, obviously being like a singer-songwriter and putting yourself out on stage, it must be quite daunting to kind of put yourself out there front and center. So
Yeah.
is that something that you've struggled with throughout your career?
No, like that's the weird thing about me. I think that's the deal with a lot of artists is that I'm quite a private person, and I'm actually a little bit shy, and you probably wouldn't think that I am, but then when I get on stage, that's when I forget about myself. That's when maybe that's when I feel most at home. And so I don't struggle I get nervous before a gig or a show, but I don't doubt that when I'm on stage, it's just going to feel natural and I'll feel good. So
going back a bit, obviously after meeting the drummer and joining the covers band, am I allowed to believe you were in a musical?
yeah. Yeah, I was in a musical, and the funny thing is the guy who wrote the music for the musical, that's Niklas Johannesson, my husband today. And yeah, there was this you could audition to be in this musical, and I thought, why not? So yeah, it was like the first Fairways musical. Yeah.
Right. And how was that then? Was there acting involved in that as well?
Yeah, there's a bit of acting involved, and then I had a few solo pieces, and yeah, I really enjoyed like the process, and yeah, so
Is, is that is that something that you would pursue again, do you think?
Perhaps, I don't know. It's yeah, I think it's when you're in some kind of like a big setup like that where you have lots of singers and actors and dancers, it's like this big family, and you just kind of you escape into that bubble for a while. So it could be cool to be back in that, but I haven't missed it, so I don't know. Yeah.
Right. So album wise, 1996, is that right? Is this when Long Distance came out? Round about
1998. Yeah.
98. Obviously working with Nicholas.
That's right.
Um, after that, there seemed to be kind of breaks between albums. Maybe like 5 to 6 years or whatever between albums.
Yeah.
And in that process, you were doing songwriting for other people as well.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Obviously, I've spoke to a few people. I've had a few people in the podcast that have done songwriting. So how does that work? And see if you know that you get a successful song and you give it away to somebody else. How does that make you feel?
Yeah. I've always had this deal where if I really love a song so much that then I won't let it go. Like I won't give it to someone unless I feel that they can maybe really do something with it extraordinary. Do you know what I mean? But just to pitch a song but when that's said, I'm not going to give anybody anything that I can't stand in for, that I don't think is worth their while. Do you know what I mean? So, but it's more like if something resonates so much with you, then I won't give it away. But so for an example, Niklas, he came home one day and he had been asked to write a song for a country singer here in the Faroes, and then he started to play the melody, and then he had the hook, "True Love in a Way," like, but true love doesn't care what they say, and I really resonated with the melody and kind of that message. And then I said, can you hold on a minute? Can you let me write lyrics? And when I started to write the lyrics, I just felt more and more like this is a song that I'm supposed to sing. So is it okay? and so that song ended up on our album Letters from the Faroes, and it's called True Love in a Way. So that's an example of when you really feel a song connects to you, then you kind of want it to be something you keep for yourself. But I mean, anyone can sing it if they want, but
yeah,
you know what I mean?
So second album, Can't Erase It. Both these, the first two albums, you can't get them on Spotify or anything like that. Were they just released in the Faroes?
Can't Erase It?
And the first album, the
and Long Distance. Yeah. Long Distance was the album. It was released in the Faroes. And I think it's basically only been released in the Faroes. But that was the album that opened a lot of doors for me, where we got interest from different labels and stuff in North America. And so that was the album that made Niklas and me move over to Vancouver, to the West Coast, and start working with writing more and doing some networking and all of that. And then Can't Erase It. That's the funny thing, is that you start because it was our debut album, we didn't have any expectations. So we just played music, and we just kind of went with the flow, and we're very playful. And then as soon as you get all this interest from abroad and stuff, you start to become more maybe more aware of what you're doing, more conscientious, and that's a good thing. But it's also important not to forget to have fun. And so we made a big album, the next album, Can't Erase It, with a really great producer, Ola Poulsen. He's Faroese, but he's Grammy nominated Danish producer living in Denmark. And so he agreed to make that album with us. And that album was released in Denmark. And it was album of the year and on some major radio stations there. But those two were, the first was just released in the Faroes, but it was the one that gained interest from abroad. So it kind of like it sparked this thing in us, that you can maybe.
So where can people hear those albums now?
I know. I think I should put Long Distance on. People have been asking me, can't you put Long Distance, the first album, on Spotify or Apple, and the same with Can't Erase It. So I think I'm gonna have to do that.
Either that or like Bandcamp or something. Bandcamp's good for you to still make a bit of money there as well.
Yeah, I could do that. The Can't Erase It, the song itself, it's on Spotify and Apple. I don't know, do you say Apple or iTunes?
I
I
say
don't know.
Apple. I don't really use either though, so
Yeah. So the song, that one song from the title album, Can't Erase It, it is on Spotify. But I should put the rest of the album up there. Yeah.
mm.
So
So,
I'll probably do that after this new album has been out for a bit. Then I'll upload all the other ones.
yeah, I think once this album comes out and you get um a wider audience, I think
Yeah,
people would want to.
yeah.
So, as I say, I mean, I spoke to you last night and I was at work. I work night shift, so I was listening to.
Oh yeah,
I was going through on the Spotify last night. Um, let your scars dance.
yeah.
Obviously, listening to that parts of it recorded at Abbey Road as well. Is that correct?
Pardon me?
Was there parts of that recorded at Abbey Road Studios? Is that correct?
That's right. That song, like the piano that you hear at the end, the strings were recorded at Abbey Road on Let Your Scars Dance, the song. And at the end of Let Your Scars Dance, there's an outro and you can hear the piano, and that's the Lady Madonna piano.
Wow.
And then there's a song called And Life Carries On Without You. The strings to that and the guitar and vocals, I believe, were all recorded there. And then Stones in My Pocket was recorded live in Abbey Road with a string quartet and harp. And yeah, so that was fun to experience that.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Working in a place like that with so
Yeah.
much magic in the air.
Yeah, it's weird how it's just a building, but still there is magic in there. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is it like walking in there for the first time? Can you feel something?
I think like that's the thing. Like, is it me because of my what I associate with it, or is there really like a vibe there? I think it was a bit of both. But it felt really huge. It felt like one of those sort of milestones in your life. Like this is a moment I'll never forget. So yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Listening to the album, what I never asked earlier on, like what was your musical influences growing up?
Um, I don't I I don't know. I had different stages of like I really as a little girl I really liked like the Carpenters.
Brilliant. I've got some names that I've kind of wrote down, so I'll come back to that.
Okay. And then like I've always if I've never really been like a genre person. Like I haven't really said I only like this kind of music. I've just reacted to something that that makes me feel something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But later in my teens, I actually I really loved the scene in the UK because I was growing up in Montreal.
Right.
And one guy in my class, he had some family in England, and when he came back with the Stone Roses tape, and he had all kinds of like stuff from Manchester, and so that kind of opened up this whole different vibe that wasn't North American, and I
Right.
really like it. I really loved it. So some English influence there too. And I love when now that we've been in the UK a bit, I also really love just basic North American stuff. Like I love Tom Petty.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so
Who used? I'm listening to your music last night. There's a bit. I'm pretty sure you name checked Tom Petty in one of your songs.
Yeah, that's right. I do.
Yeah.
It's the song called Class Picture.
Yeah, that's it. Is
Yeah.
that's the one where you name all the people in it?
Yeah. These
That's
are
right, yeah.
people that, yeah, these people that I name in the song, these are people that a couple of them are fictional characters, but most of them are non-fictional. And it's just like the story about when you're a kid and you go to school and you look at the class and you're like, okay, we all have these dreams, and then 30 years down the road, where are we? Like, and do we still have those same dreams? And so I just mention all these people and kind of what life has dealt for them, you know what I mean? So
And it's quite upbeat. Considering I've had another guy on the podcast, Jack Jones, who fronts
yeah.
a band called Trampoline, and on their debut album, the first track, he does a bit of spoken word, and the first track is a poem called Artwork of Youth,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's him talking about other people in his class at school, but
Okay.
they're
Wow.
probably not spoke in the same kind of glowing terms as you spoke about your people.
Right.
It's talking about who smoked the first joint and
Oh yeah.
who got a blowjob before class, stuff like that.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but he's no left any of the names out, and a lot of these people are, I think, a bit mad at.
Did he leave their names out?
No, no, he
No?
kept most of their
Oh,
names, and I think there was a couple that were bleeped it, but
oh
aye,
right.
really good. So. So as I kind of touched on, like obviously asking about your influences and like listening to Let Your Scars Dance, some of the singing style that I got from it
Yeah.
was Karen Carpenter,
Oh.
along with Alanis Morissette as well. There was some kind of
Oh, wow.
um, just the way you sang some of the songs just sounded like that, and it wasn't until I wrote it down I thought, well, she was from Canada. I didn't know if there was any influence there for growing up.
Like, yeah. With Alanis,
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think she's great. I remember when Alanis came out, and I remember really connecting with the angst in her voice, because she kind of was this counter reaction to all the pretty singing. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that was and all of a sudden you could say anything, like you could just, yeah, you can sing your diary. Do you know what I mean? Like just
Yeah.
sing your heart out. And I really like that. And how she crammed a whole bunch of syllables into one line. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, she really resonated with me. But I've never seen myself as one that has that rocky voice that she
Mm-hmm.
has.
It just seemed to be just certain bits of your voice at times sounded like certain people. Another one that I thought about was Dido.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, just all at different times in the between songs. But
Yeah.
I'm really impressed that I kind of got that Karen Carpenter vibe,
Oh.
and then for you to,
And that I really liked her. Yeah. Yeah. My mom, you're always influenced by what you also hear at home. And my mom had a few records, and one of those was Carpenters. And so that was on quite a bit. Yeah. Record player. Yeah.
brilliant. Another couple of albums, 2011, Letter from the Pharaohs came out,
Letters from
um,
the Paris.
which what I got for that was more singer-songwriter. I don't know if you've heard Passenger.
Yeah.
What
Wow.
I kind of got a bit of that
That's
for
cool.
there, and I was obviously he works with guest singers quite a bit, and when I
Yeah.
heard your voice, I thought that would be ideal for the two of you to sing something together.
Oh, I'd love that. That would be amazing.
So yeah, that's what I got for
You can
that.
you can connect us and get us to do a song together.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. I mean, I'd like
That'd
to
be
have
great.
him on the podcast. So if I ever get him on the podcast,
Yeah.
I'll certainly pass your details on.
Beautiful.
So these 2011, 2016 Eagle in the Sky. So as I say, there seems to be a bit of time between albums.
Right.
What's the reason behind that? Is that just life?
You know what? That is probably just life. But it's life, and it's when we do everything ourselves, and at the same time we take on other, like we play gigs, and we don't lock ourselves in a studio for 2 months and then come out with an album. It's like we start, and we're intense in segments. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also this thing where sometimes it's good to come back to something with fresh ears. And so it hasn't always taken a long time, but yeah, those albums have, but it's not like we hover above the album for like 4 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We do other stuff, and then we have fresh ears, and then new ideas, and a lot of songs are reworked, and yeah. But we're thinking of doing an album now, and just the next album, and not having it take a long time. Just see if we can get it done in a couple of months.
Right.
But
so that leads us to State of the Land.
Yeah.
Which obviously I sent out a bunch of emails to PR companies at the start of the year looking for new guests for my podcast, and one of the first to reply was Nick at Beat Filter, and he sent me this album. Me and my wife were decorating the house, and I put this album on, and I was blown away with it. It's beautiful, and
thank you.
It's going to be an absolute hit. Recorded in LA.
Yeah.
With Geoff Emerick.
Yeah.
How does that come about? How did
you know what? It's kind of this follow-up of the Abbey Road dream. Like when we did Let Your Scars Dance, we thought, what let's make it an adventure. Do you know what I mean? Because you can always just have your computer, you can always make music, but how do we make this an adventure? And so that was the question also when we ended up in Abbey Road. That would be a dream come true for us. And so that's what we set out to achieve. And so for this album, we thought, okay, who would be our ultimate engineer? You know what I mean? Because the idea was to have all the basic tracks played live so that you get the synergy when you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
But that is also, but when you do that, it's vital that you have good engineering so that whatever gets on tape is like, it has a good sound, right? Like a healthy foundation. So both Nicholas and I we looked at each other and said, Geoff Emerick, that would, and we started to Google, and he had still been working and stuff like that. And so he had a management at the time, and we contacted the management, and then he asked if we could send some music that we had done. So we sent Eagle in the Sky, because that was our previous album. And then he got back to us and said that we got his private number. And so we knew that it was his, telephone and all of that. And he said he really liked the album and he would love to work with us. And so we set out to plan a timeline, and we asked him, what studios in LA will come to you? Okay, I'm in LA. What studios in LA do you are your favorites? And if I remember correctly, he mentioned Capitol, and then he mentioned LAFX. And Capitol, of course, is very big and expensive. And the other one, LAFX, was more indie and maybe more affordable for us. And it also had this console API that he really loved. So we booked LAFX March 2018 and started to track with some LA musicians. And then we had Niklas, me, and then our bassist from the Pharaohs with us, so that we could we at least had some kind of a core together. Like our bassist Niklas and me, we practiced for a few weeks before heading to LA, just so that we knew what we were doing when we got there. Because sometimes if you only have session people on board, they don't know your story. Do you know what I mean?
Like, yeah, there can be a lot of time wasted kind of trying to connect.
You want there to be a connection that's more than just chords and tempo. You want it to be like spiritual too. So yeah, and I was really nervous the first day because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how he was going to be, Geoff Emerick, and then I just remember it right away. He gave me really good vibes and was such a gentleman, and like always, like if when I was going from the vocal booth out into the console room or the control room, he would like open the door for me and hold the door. There you go, darling. There you go, dear. He was like, so, and I remember he didn't eat. Like he wouldn't take a lot of breaks and have lunch and all of this. He says, no. All of that just slows me down. He wanted to be like super focused, but I had to eat. So I went out and had lunch and stuff. But I remember he kept on being like in the groove, you know? So that was a really precious experience. And that was also partly what made our project take such a long time, is because of his untimely death in October that same year that we recorded with him in 2018. He suddenly passed, and that sort of disturbed the whole thing for us, because our plan was to go back to LA and do overdubs together with him, because we had just laid down the foundation. So like just the basic tracking, and 1 week in LA and then back to the Pharaohs to sort of think about overdubs and stuff. And then our plan was to go back to LA, do overdubs with Geoff, and then have Geoff mix the album. But because he wasn't able to do that all of a sudden, then we had to think, okay, what next? How do we move on from here and still be true to the vision that we had to begin with, and also be true to the groundwork that he's laid already. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like, a, maybe we started off being too precious about things, because, oh yeah, but this is the way we did it there, and we have to keep it exactly like that. You know what I mean? And then the more time we spent on it, the more we realized that I'm pretty sure Geoff would have been happy that we also just continued in his spirit, and then at the same time we're true to ourselves. So that's also what made this thing take a long time.
Obviously, on top of like Geoff's passing and all the stuff that you still had to do, obviously there ended up a pandemic as well amongst that. How did that kind of?
I totally
how did that affect everything?
That's so true. Yeah, it's crazy, eh? Yeah, that shut down so much for everyone for a couple of years. Yeah,
which I think the music industry is still kind of recovering from now.
It is, and also like the booking world and stuff. Yeah.
I spoke to a boy on Sunday night for the podcast, and they had announced a headline show in April 2019 or something. Or
Yeah.
it ended up, it went ahead 20 months after it was initially scheduled. It was rescheduled
Oh.
and rescheduled and rescheduled.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
if you think of the backlog and bookings for all these
It's
gigs,
true.
it's still kind of, people are still trying to find their feet now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we experienced that too.
So obviously with the album, on the album as well, we've got Matt Chamberlain, who's drummer.
Yeah.
He's worked with Bob Dylan, David
Yeah.
Bowie, and Adele. You got Matt Rowlands, pianist, who's worked with Springsteen and Billy Joel. So
Yeah.
how do you get these guys? How did they come on board?
Matt Chamberlain, we worked with him for the first time on Letters from the Pharaohs. And he was, I think he was based in LA at the time, but he also did a lot of work in Seattle because he has some roots there.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle, and musical. He worked there for a while, I think. And so, and like a lot of my family in Canada, they live in on the West Coast, so Vancouver, Victoria. And so we thought, perfect. We can go to Seattle and record drums with Matt, and then visit family up in Vancouver. And yeah, I think we just somehow got his information and sent him stuff that we were working on. And he said, yeah, you know. So that's I think it's just being open to like connecting with people, networking, and yeah. People are just people at the end of the day, no matter what their CV looks like. Do you know what I mean? So if you just try to connect somehow. But yeah, so we were really fortunate. He said yes, and so we were really happy with his drumming, and he's so creative. Like he does really cool patterns and stuff like that. So for our next album, Eagle in the Sky, we wanted to use him again, and this time he was in LA, and he had his own studio, so he had his own like drums and everything there, and a setup that worked for him. And so we had him just lay down the drums, and then we worked around that when we got back to the Faroes. And Matt Rowlands, he was our friend here in the Faroes who had done a lot of projects in Nashville. He recommended him and said, here's his contact info. And yeah, so, and then John Sosin, he's the guitarist that worked with us also in LA on this album. He was just someone I had heard him on the internet, playing, I think it was some YouTube thing. And they were like, okay, who's that? And then we just do our homework and connect with him. So yeah.
Brilliant. And on top of all this as well, you had a 30-piece orchestra from time to time as well.
Yeah.
Which honestly, it makes it the album, as I say, it's really beautiful. It's not something I thought I would like, but it kind of resonated with me straight away. Obviously the opening song, The Lark, as well. Notice that the end, it fades out with, is it Pharaohs? Is it?
Yeah, it's Faroese.
Is that the first time you've used that?
Yeah, it's the first time I've used Faroese in my solo albums. Yeah, I've sung a couple of songs in Faroese, and as we talked about earlier, the musical that I did, I was in. That was all in Faroese, but I haven't sung in Faroese before on one of my solo albums. So this was the first. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the lyrics as well, and I was trying to, I was trying to sing it myself, but I couldn't get my head around those words. It'd take a bit of time for me to learn the Pharaoh's language.
Yeah. It's like Old Norse. It's probably like closest to like what the Vikings spoke. Yeah. Old Norse. Yeah. I think like some words in Gaelic and they might be similar, but I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I never learned. I mean, that being from Scotland, and you would think that we were all taught Gaelic, but it's further up that they seem to teach
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So I album out on Friday. Um, Probably this podcast will be released the same day. So if anybody's listening to us, go out and buy the album, listen to the album, stream the album. 4 singles out already. Um, State of the Land, Amy, The Airport, and Home Tonight. What can we expect for the rest of the album? Which obviously I've heard and I know. But for the listeners, what can they expect?
Um, just expect I don't know. I think the next song is gonna be like the feature song it's gonna be a little up tempo, and it's called There Must Be Something More. That's kind of like a little North American-y, um, electric guitar driven. But yeah, you just expect a collection of 11 songs, and some of them are well, all of them come from a personal place, and then I hope they somehow resonate with you. I don't know. That's the thing with when you make music, you live with it for such a long time, and then you release it, and then it takes on a life of its own. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't control like what people get out of it or how people react. But now it's out there, and all I can do is hope that, yeah, it sits well in your ears.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I think it's going to be a a total smash hit. It's everybody going to listen to it. It's a cracking album. Um, what's the plans touring wise? Have you got any gigs coming up?
Yeah, we're working on that now. Apropos the COVID backlog that we experienced, that for example with our booking. So we're working on that, and we'll announce some dates in the near future. So yeah.
Will there be British dates?
Pardon me?
Will there be British dates?
I hope so. That would be so awesome. Yeah.
Uh,
Scottish dates. Yeah.
I'd love to see you in Scotland. I think it'd
I
be,
would love to come to Scotland.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
You have like if you have some a cool venue that you recommend, you can let me know.
yeah. I mean, I could see
I'm
you
putting too
play.
much pressure on you. You have to get me together with Passenger, and then book me in
Yeah,
Scotland.
yeah. I'm getting you together with Passenger, and then you're going to play
Yeah,
Glasgow Barrowlands.
that would be
Um,
wonderful.
Absolutely iconic venue. But I mean, we're around about Glasgow. There's some cracking venues that would suit you.
Oh,
Um,
thanks.
yeah, I mean, I would love to see you in Scotland. It would be amazing.
Wow, we would love that so much.
But and it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Obviously,
Martin.
before we go, the last bit of the podcast would have been called Time for Heroes. I
Yeah,
asked my guests to pick 4 heroes to come for dinner.
right.
What would you cook for them, and why they're your heroes?
Yeah. Well, um, so 4 heroes, and I'm gonna invite them for dinner. So my first hero is Mrs. Gray. and she's my 4th grade teacher. And I was going through a tough time as a child, and she really made me feel like I belonged, and that I was that I was good at something, and that thing that she noticed was writing. So she was really good at encouraging me. Like, I wrote my first poem in her class, and the way she reacted to it, it made me think that maybe that was something that I could do. And I remember I had an accident in grade 4, and it kind of smashed my face up a bit. And so when I came back to school with scars and stuff, she was really good at getting the kids to not bully me, Right. And those things you don't forget, you know what I mean? So she's coming to dinner.
That's great. That'll be the first time MD's ever picked Mrs. Gray for this podcast.
Yeah, Mrs. Gray. And then Sana Brock. She's like good at making friends, but she was a girl I met in grade 11 in Montreal, and she made me feel like also this feeling of belonging. And because I've always felt like an outsider, but it turned out she also felt like an outsider. So we were 2 outsiders hanging out in Montreal. And she's still my friend today, and we call each other soul sisters, even though we don't see each other a lot. So she's coming to dinner, Sana Brock, and she lives in Montreal today. And then, of course, you have to have some like guy that you put on a pedestal as a teenager, and that's Tom Petty. So he's coming to dinner too. Right. And he's always had this cut the crap way of singing. And it's always just gone straight to my heart. And there was always also something troubled about him, and I could relate to that somehow. And so when you think about heroes, like when I think about heroes, like why are these people my heroes? And then I thought to myself, it's really because of the way they make me feel. It's not so much that I'm in awe of them, but the way they made me feel good. And Tom Petty has always made me feel good with his music and his just way of being straightforward. And so, he's coming to dinner. And then last but not least, Niklas Johannesson, he's coming to dinner too, because he always makes me feel good. And he's the guy that basically when I feel that I can't do something, he tells me, well, don't focus on the things that you can't do. Think of the things that you can do. And he's always wanted to see me blossom and be the best that I can be. So in my world, that's a hero for sure. So he's coming to dinner. So us 5. And what I'm going to serve is like a totally rock and roll dinner. Roast lamb. We're just going to roast a really good piece of lamb. And I don't know if you're a vegetarian or anything, but we're going to eat lamb. And then we're going to roast some cool vegetables, maybe some local vegetables here from the Faroes. And and then just have some good wine and have really good conversation. And then,
Brilliant. That sounds amazing. It's a
and
testament
you can
as
come
well
too,
to think.
of course, Martin. That would be great if you came too.
Oh, brilliant! Do you know what? I don't think I've ever been invited to one of these before.
Yeah, come. Yeah.
Excellent. I mean, I would love to meet Nicholas. I think the way you spoke about him throughout the podcast has been,
Yeah.
I mean, there's no many relationships last that length of time, but to tie in with not only a relationship romantically, but to be working together musically as well, must put immense strain on the relationship at times.
Yeah. You know what? It does and it doesn't, because so for example, when we go touring, we don't have to be away from each other. We go to work together, and we experience all these things on stage together. And but I think at the same time, we're good at giving each other space, you know. But when that's said, like, if I come home and I've had a not so good day, chances are he's not had a good day either, because we have the same job. So we can't really vent, like use each other as a vent in that way. But yeah, we've gotten this far, and it's been a beautiful journey, and I'm very thankful that that he's with me, and also that he's gifted with both songwriting and producing and playing guitar and everything that he does on the album. So yeah,
Brilliant.
thanks.
As I say, I'll reiterate, State of the Land out Friday, 26th of January. Everybody go and listen wherever you can. I'll post links to all your socials, your website and all that for people to get in contact with you. But absolute pleasure having you on. The album sounds amazing.
Wow. Thank you, Martin. Thanks so much for having me. And it's been really, it feels like I've known you for a long time. I don't know why, but yeah, some people call that magic. That's why you're coming to our hero dinner. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So thank you so much, and all the best to you too with your work.
Thank you very much. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
I hope you all enjoyed this episode of Time for Heroes podcast. If you would like to get in touch, the best way is on the Facebook page, Time for Heroes podcast, or on Instagram at Time for Heroes podcast, or Twitter at Time for Heroes P1, or drop me an email at timeforheroespod@gmail.com. You'll find Time for Heroes on all podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple, Google and Amazon. Please leave a review where you can, share with others, and more importantly, enjoy.
Chance of